When we think about the Holy Spirit, it is very difficult to conceive and to really understand what's going on there. Is the Holy Spirit a who? Is the Holy Spirit a being? Is it some kind of an essence? What is the Holy Spirit? So today we're starting a series about the Holy Spirit. We're going to be studying it all week. I told you that we'd be doing that this week. And it's been very difficult in these first few sentences to call the Holy Spirit an it, especially after I've already done all this research. The Holy Spirit, in fact, is a being. It is the Holy Spirit knows things. He feels things. He is an active part of the Trinity, and we're going to be looking at a lot of biblical evidence to back this up. So today we're starting in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, and it says, chapter 2, verse 10, "These things God has revealed to us through his Spirit. For the Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God." So not only does he search things, he knows things, he understands things, and he reveals things. This is not some kind of mystical cloud that just kind of floats around and goes where the wind takes it. This is a very purposeful being and an essential part of that Trinity that gives us that guidance and direction. Now in Ephesians 4:30 it says, "And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God." Now there's a lot of meat in here as you read through this verse, but what we're focused on here is that the Holy Spirit feels things. The Holy Spirit can become grieved. And how is it grieved? By whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. So it means, don't turn your back on the Holy Spirit. Don't give him the cold shoulder. Recognize that you were sealed for the day of redemption by the Holy Spirit. So I looked up the word grieve, and in the Strong's definition, it says distress, to be sad, to have grief, grieve, heaviness, be sorrowful, to make sorrow. And in the Thayer's Concordance definition, it says to make sorrowful, to affect with sadness, cause grief, or throw into sorrow, to grieve, offend, to make one uneasy, cause him a scruple. So when I think this through and I take it to that deeper level, we are throwing God to the side when we grieve the Holy Spirit. And it is a very hurtful thing to the Holy Spirit. I love God so much, the last thing I'd want to do is hurt him. But we've got to be aware of that. And then in Isaiah 63:10, it says, "But they rebelled and grieved his Holy Spirit. Therefore he turned to be their enemy and himself fought against them." Now this is Hebrew, so it's going to be a different word, and it's atzab. In the Strong's, it means to carve, fabricate, or fashion, to worry, pain, or anger, displease, grieve, hurt, make, be sorry, vex, worship, or rest. So what we're doing here is when we grieve the Holy Spirit, we are causing a deep amount of grief for the Holy Spirit. Now, we also saw that the Holy Spirit makes decisions. In 1 Corinthians 12:7, it says, "To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good." Now, if you look at that in context, you're going to see that that chapter is talking about the spiritual gifts. Each person is given a measure of their spiritual gift according to what the Holy Spirit has decided. The Holy Spirit is making those decisions. Definitely a being. We can also be in conflict with him. In Acts 7:51, it says, "You stiff-necked people, uncircumcised in heart and ears, you always resist the Holy Spirit. As your fathers did, so do you." So when I think about this, I'm not going to resist a chair, but I may resist a being. I may resist a person and be in conflict with a person. And this verse is about being in conflict with the Holy Spirit. In Hebrews chapter 10, starting in verse 26, it says, "For we go on sinning deliberately after receiving the knowledge of truth. There no longer remains a sacrifice for sins, but a fearful expectation of judgment and a fury of fire that will consume the adversaries. Anyone who set aside the law of Moses dies without mercy on the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. How much worse do you think will be deserved by the one who has trampled underfoot the Son of God and has profaned the blood of the covenant by which he was sanctified and has outraged the Spirit of grace? So not only can the Holy Spirit be grieved, he can be outraged. He is definitely a living, active being. He's got feelings, he's making decisions, he's got knowledge, and he's revealing things to us. And it's our job to not turn our back on that, but welcome that and worship God for that. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.